Alright boys, with this week's most recent reset / update inside of Destiny 2, we now have access to the newly updated Ikelos SMG and Ikelos Sniper rifle. Now, as soon as these two weapons became available, people started coming to me and asking me what I think about them, especially the SMG. So your boy decided to give it a go, and my god, was it amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and say that with the right roles and mods, it's one of the best primaries in the game right now. That's right boys, Papa MyFi is back to show you all the god roll Ikelos SMG that you need to go out and farm for, and why it might just be one of the best primaries in the game. But you know the drill. If you're new, and only if you enjoy the videos, then feel free to subscribe. I'd love you forever. Also, I stream every single day except for Sundays and Thursdays over on twitch.tv/myfi with an underscore at the end, and I have been helping people get through raids for the new Moments of Triumph seal. So if you need help with any of the raids for the new MMXX seal, then come on over and I will help you out. Okay, plugs done, let's get into this godly SMG. So in order to get this weapon, as I know a lot of times when I do these videos, I end up forgetting to tell you all how you can actually get your hands on them. You need to complete the quest called Preparation. This quest is going to have you running around like a headless chicken all over the solar system. You will need to complete a weekly bounty from the corresponding vendors on Titan, Io, Mercury, and Mars. Now, each time you complete a part of the quest, you will receive an engram that you can decrypt at the Drifters Decryption Station thingy, and it'll give you a chance at getting the Ikelos Sniper or the Ikelos SMG and a few other weapons that we don't really care about. But you're going to want to finish the entire quest, because upon completing it, you will have access to 2 additional engrams to choose when focusing Umbral engrams. The first new one you will see is called Assassin Focused Umbral Engram, which contains the Ikelos Sniper and a grenade launcher that I cannot, for the life of me, pronounce. The next new engram is called CQC Focused Umbral Engram. This is the engram you are going to want to focus all your Umbral engrams to if you're trying to get the Ikelos SMG, as it contains the Ikelos SMG and a slug shotgun. So technically, you got a 50-50 chance of getting the SMG, even though I swear I focused 20 engrams and got like 15 shotguns, but it should still technically be a 50-50 chance. So now that you know how to farm this thing, or just how to get it in general, what is it? The Ikelos SMG is a 750 RPM arc SMG, and no, I didn't just say SMG twice. Ikelos SMG is literally the name of this SMG submachine gun. You get what I'm trying to say. It originally came out back in Warmind, but has recently been updated to feature random rolls here in Season of Arrivals. Speaking of random rolls, let's get into the perks on this bad boy. In Column 1, we find a pretty standard assortment of perks that we are used to seeing on SMGs. Corkscrew rifling, polygonal rifling, small bore, fluted barrel, chambered compensator, hammer forged rifling, arrowhead break, extended barrel, and full bore. If you want my personal picks, well, if you're on mouse and keyboard, then full bore for a massive increase to range. But even on mouse and keyboard, this thing has some kick. So having something that can help bring that recoil down couldn't hurt. Some perks that would be great at controlling recoil are small bore for added range and stability, polygonal rifling for just straight stability, or corkscrew rifling for an increase across the board to range, stability, and handling. Everything I just mentioned to help control recoil are also great perks if you happen to be on controller. Now, getting into Column 2, and just like Column 1, we found a lot of perks that we would normally find on any SMG except one, but we will get into that in just a second. We have Tactical Mag, Appendant Mag, Extended Mag, Flared Magwell, Accurized Rounds, Steady Rounds, and Alloy Magazine. Now, that one perk I was just talking about, well, it's Seraph Rounds, which states rounds overpenetrate targets and bounce off hard surfaces. Now, in my opinion, this is what you should absolutely go for. Like, honestly, just forget about every other perk in this column and go straight after this one. It's like ricochet rounds, armor piercing rounds, and high cow had a baby. You get the rounds that reflect, overpenetrate, and flinch. Literally, all the perks I just mentioned into one. Also, not to mention, it adds range. Even though it doesn't actually show the range stat increasing in game, trust me, it adds range. The only other perks I would recommend in Column 2 would be stability perks, and that's only if you're having an absolutely terrible time controlling recoil. But with the stability perks I mentioned in Column 1 and the stability perk I'm about to mention in Column 3, well, I don't think having a perk to help with recoil will be necessary in this column. Plus, honestly, I feel like Seraph Rounds are just too good to miss out on. Now, getting into Column 3, we have 5 perks. Threat Detector, Subsistence, Grave Robber, Dynamic Sway Reduction, and Pulse Monitor. I'm gonna go ahead and say that you can throw Pulse Monitor and Subsistence out the window. And I know what you're thinking, MyFi, I thought you liked Subsistence. Yes, I do, but not on this gun. Your reserves are already small enough, and you only get 4 shots back in your clip per kill on a gun that only has 29 in the magazine. So in my opinion, I would skip Subsistence on the Ikelos SMG. Now, the perks I do recommend would be Threat Detector for faster reload speed when surrounded by enemies, Grave Robber for the ability to punch an enemy and have your magazine instantly reload, and Dynamic Sway Reduction so you can let this thing bang without ever having to worry about recoil. Now, for column 4, and here, just like column 3, we find 5 perks. Vorpal Weapon, Demolitionist, Disruption Break, Surrounded, and Tap the Trigger. Now, just about all these perks can be useful in some form of way. Vorpal is useful for yellow health bar ads or bosses, but honestly, I wouldn't really be shooting a boss with an SMG. Demo for the ability to get your nade back super fast. Disruption Break for... Actually, wait, don't use Disruption Break. Surrounded if you're looking for the closest thing to a traditional damage perk, and Tap the Trigger if you want magical accuracy on the initial pull of the trigger. Although, in my opinion, I think Demo and Surrounded are the absolute best here. Now let's get into the god rolls, and I am going to completely ignore column 1 as it's personal preference if you need that extra stability or not. But for reference, I would be using full bore on all these god rolls for greater range. Then for column 2, I would be using Seraph rounds. So now that you know what perks I'd be using in column 1 and 2, let's talk about the columns that actually matter, column 3 and 4, and here's where the god rolls start coming in. Now, for god roll number 1, Threat Detector and Surrounded. This is the closest roll you are going to get to your traditional reload/damage perks roll. God roll number 2, Grave Robber and Demolitionist. This is going to be the unlimited grenades and never having to reload, as anytime you throw a grenade or punch an enemy, the gun will just auto-reload itself. Then, god roll number 3, Dynamic Sway Reduction and Tap the Trigger. This is your PvP roll for absolutely no recoil, and as long as you're kind of in the general vicinity on the initial pull of the trigger, you will just magically hit their head. Now keep in mind, you can mix and match the perks on the god rolls that I just mentioned to your liking, i.e. Grave with Surrounded or Threat with Demo. Now why is this weapon potentially one of the best primaries in the game? And that would have to do with its ability to produce Warmind cells. Yes, I know I have said before on the channel that I hated Warmind cell builds, but I'm changing my mind. I think the reason I hated Warmind cell builds was because I liked running other mods, and with Warmind cell builds requiring me to not use those mods and instead use strictly Warmind cell mods, well, I just didn't like it. But now all I have to do is run Global Reach, which only takes 1 energy and can be equipped on any piece of armor no matter the affinity, and boom, my Ikelos SMG is now producing Warmind cells. And, well, yeah, I've kind of become an addict at shooting those big orange glowing balls. The role that most primaries fill in the game is the ability to ad clear, and Warmind cells do that better than anything else. You kill a few enemies, then shoot an orange ball that drops from one of those enemies, and now everything within a 10-foot radius dies. Like, I can't think of anything else in the game that can do that. Not to mention the Ikelos SMG in general is very good. The only downside of this weapon is its magazine. I feel like every time I get a Warmind cell to spawn, I need to reload in order to actually shoot it, but all of that is solved with just one easy fix. That fix being the fact that you don't actually need to get a kill with the Ikelos SMG for a Warmind cell to spawn. As long as you have the Ikelos SMG out when you get a kill, then you have a chance at getting a Warmind cell to drop. For example, and this isn't just the example, this is like actually top tier gaming big brain status. Shoot a shot with a Wither Horde, and then let it hit the ground and start damaging enemies. Then switch to your Ikelos SMG before the Wither Horde blight damage gets a kill. As long as your Ikelos SMG is out by the time the enemy is killed, you have a chance at spawning a Warmind cell. Yeah, it's pretty great. I don't know if it's meant to happen or if it's a bug where the game thinks the kill came from the SMG, but whatever it is, it's great, and you should 100% use it. This weapon goes great with the build I made a few days ago. That build being Wither Horde, Gnawing Hunger, and Falling Guillotine. You just swap out the ad clearing weapon, which is Gnawing Hunger in this case, for the Ikelos SMG, which is even better at ad clearing because 1, it's an SMG, and 2, it can produce one of the best ad clearing things in the game, Warmind cells. And there we go. The Ikelos SMG, in my opinion, is the new best primary in the game right now, as it does what you would want most primaries to do, and that's ad clearing. And the Ikelos SMG takes ad clearing to a whole new level, but let me know what you think. But now I need something from you. Yes, you. I need you to let me know in the comments section if you have any of the god rolls I just mentioned, especially if you have that threat detector surrounded roll, as even with the ability to get 2 perks in column 4 on the weapons via upgrading the Drifter's Recaster, I still do not have that roll. So if you do, then I'm big jealous. With all that being said, if you enjoyed the video, then feel free to drop a like, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.